pitch just because Garness swung at the first one that was up high. And Wilmore, 1-2 count, still plenty of pitches to play with.
Here's the 1-2 pitch. Chopped towards third, fielded by Deming. Steps on third for one, throws to Ferdinand. Not in time. They get the force out with Deming forcing out Balsley at third. Woods ends up at second, and Garness was able to beat the throw from Deming to first base. So runners at first and second now with one out. And Drew Gusso coming up the pitcher.
So close there for Carter Deming, but the key was getting the lead runner. The double play still ends the inning here.
Gusso, a right-handed batter, swings, and he bounces one to Deming. He's going to throw to second for one, on to Ferdinand for the double play. Around the horn, 5-4-3 double play. Wilmore recovers nicely in the post-22 defense. Turns a double play to end the second inning. No runs, no hits, no errors, one man left on base. Post-22 leads Spearfish at the end of 2, 11-0. Mark Benetti will be here to bring you the top of the third when we return to Post-22 baseball right after this. Well, Mark, I have an 11-0 lead as I hand it over to you for the next couple of innings. It's all in your hands.
Well, 2 innings down, another 2 innings in front of us at least. We're going to start off with one at a time, though. Statistically across the board, through 2 innings for the Hard Hats, it's 11 runs on 3 hits, no blemishes on defense. For Spearfish, no runs, no hits, but those 4 errors in the field haven't really made things easy for their defensive efforts trying to limit the damage against the Hard Hats. Hard Hats have Cooper Bowman, Zach Solano, and Timmy Paris due up here in this top half of the third. Cooper Bowman, 1 for 1, with a 2-run RBI double and a run scored, as well as a walk. Zach Solano also credited with an RBI double of his own. He's on deck. First pitch from Gusso, in there for a called strike. No balls and a strike to count here to Cooper Bowman. Bowman again 1 for 1, looking to keep this offense rolling here for the Hard Hats. 0-1. Swung on and fouled. No balls, 2 strikes. Pitch looked like it was getting away from Bowman there, a desperation cut, if you will. So no balls, 2 strikes to count here for Cooper Bowman. Really came into his own last year offensively, defensively. 0-2. That missed outside. Bowman was not going to fish for that one. And the count now pushes to 1 2 strikes. Full wind up here for Gusso. 1-2. Missed low and away, and the count evens up. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Zach Solano on deck. Timmy Paris in the hole. Paris, a 3-run home run to his credit in his very first at-bat. Allowed the Hard Hats to really blow open the scoreboard. 2-2. Swung on, and that's hit high in the air to right field. Shallow right field at that. Charging is Kozel, and he makes the catch. So an F9 in the scorebook. 1 up, 1 down. That will bring up Zach Solano.
Bat number 13, Zach Solano.
The North Dakota State University commitment. With nobody on the base path and 1 out here in the top of the third. 11-0. The Hard Hats have the lead. They're looking to keep adding to that tally. First pitch to Solano. Missed. Outside. Ball and no strikes. Solano, a tremendous season offensively last year. Can't really be surprised. 1-0. Swung on, that's hit high in the air to center field. Rosencrantz is on his horse. Looks like he's under the ball, and he makes the catch. So an F8 in the scorebook now for Solano. That's 2 up, 2 down for that. So that's going to bring up Timmy Paris. Avoid their first 1-2-3 inning of the season. So Paris, base is emptied, 2 out. Facing Drew Gusso. First pitch from Gusso to Paris. High and inside, ball 1. Timmy Paris, a 3-run home run in the top half of the first inning, followed by a 6-3 ground out to end the same inning. 1-0. Missed outside, 2 balls, no strikes. Timmy Paris, such a lethal hitter. So, no surprise Gusso's trying to stay away from the hot spots in the strike zone. 2-0. Inside, almost clipped him. Count pushes to 3 balls and no strikes. Should Paris safely gain entry to the base path, Eric Petrie's on deck. Reached on an error the last time he was up and came around to score. 0 for 2. 3-0 to Paris. High, ball 4. So Paris will take his position 90 feet down the baseline to his right. And now here comes Eric Petrie. So 2 outs and a man on for the Hard Hats right fielder. Here in the top of the third. First pitch from Gusso. Caught the zone outside. Strike 1. Balls in a strike here for Petrie with Paris 90 feet to his right on first. Gusso from the stretch gives a quick peek to first. Next pitch hits it. Eric Petrie wears that one. And now Paris will move into scoring position. Petrie on first. That's going to bring up Luke Ferdinand. He is, as of right now, the only left-handed hitter in the Hard Hats lineup. So, changing the perspective there for Gusso on the mound. Ferdinand 0 for 2, twice reached on an error, but he did come around to score the first time he was on the base path. One of the 11 runs the Hard Hats currently possess on the scoreboard. 11-0 here, top of the third, 2 outs. Timmy Paris 180 feet away from making this a 12-0 game. On first, Eric Petrie. Gusso takes his time before Ferdinand gets to look at his first pitch of his third plate appearance. First pitch, missed outside. Ball, no strikes. Paris and Petrie each take their leads on their respective bases. 1-0. Off speed, missed up high, 2 balls, no strikes.
You know, there's a lot of players here, Mark, that are good, solid players, but I'm looking for a monster year from Timmy Paris. I think he's at that verge of adjusting. He could be player of the year.
2-0, misses low, ball 3. 3 balls, no strikes to count. Completely agree with that sentiment. Heck, he could have even won it last year, to be honest. The way that he hit the ball, the way that he led and fielded behind the plate. 3-0 to Ferdinand, swung on, and that's ripped into right field, and it's going to drop for a base hit. Paris is on his horse. He rounds third. He's going to go home. Petrie will go to third, and no throw will come to the plate. A 2-out RBI single for Luke Ferdinand, and just like that, the Hard Hats are up a dozen. It's 12-0.
Hit number 5 for Rapid City in the game.
And now that brings up Holden Jackson, the designated hitter.
Have to ask Luke whether he likes better, an RBI solid hit like that or a slap shot from the circle that scores.
First pitch to Jackson, popped up to shallow infield. Underneath it is Balsley at short. He's going to make the easy catch, and that's going to do it. Pop 6 in the scorebook retires Jackson. That will end the top half of the third. The Hard Hats get 1 run on 1 hit, no errors, and 2 men left on the base path, 1 in scoring position. At the end of 2.5, the Hard Hats now have a 12-0 lead. We'll be right back in a few moments with the bottom half of the third here on the official radio home of Post 22 Hard Hats Baseball on ESPN Radio, Rapid City.
Well, the home season is always highlighted by the Firecracker Tournament. Camping World is again sponsoring it to benefit Post 22 Baseball. And just some of the teams that will be coming in as Post 22 has a new pitcher here. Las Vegas, Missoula, Eden Prairie, Minnesota, Premier West out of Colorado, Rocky Mountain out of Colorado, Yakima, Washington will return to Rapid City. They won the 1975 World Series at Fitzgerald Stadium back in 75. Yes, I was there.
I do remember you telling me that story a while back.
Do you?
Yeah, we were actually calling the mine scrimmage. You were telling me about that.
I'll have to be careful what I tell you from now on if you have such a good memory.
Well, I'd like to think I have a good memory. You also have good observation skills. You are correct. There is a new pitcher on the mound for the Hard Hats. And if we can read Coach Messer's handwriting properly, that is Trey Eberline, who comes in for Will Moore, who went 2 innings, didn't allow a hit or a run. Unfortunately, no Ks for Will Moore, but that will come as the season progresses.
I thought it was really good, though, the way Will, after he walked a hitter, then hit a batter to put 2 on, nobody out, really buckled down and got 2 ground balls, 1 a force out of third, and then the 5-4-3 double play. So he responded nicely to those 2 batters that he was wild with.
So now, face Connor Glassford, the first baseman, Zach Kozel, the right fielder, and then we'll go back to the top of the order to Taylor Genevieve. So, first pitch for Eberline. Misses high on a fastball, ball 1. Good velocity for a first starting pitch. Season opener, I'm sure his emotions are all over the place right now. Full windup for Eberline. Here comes the 1-0. And that's in there for a called strike. Ball and a strike now, the count to Connor Glassford. This is his first plate appearance of the entire ballgame. As we go to 8, 9, and 1 in the order. 1-1. Fastball, called strike. Wow, that ball is flying out of his hand. A ball and 2 strikes. Eberline gets his signal from Paris. Full windup. 1-2. Swung on, and that's ripped to short. Stops made on the play by Cooper Bowman. Throw to first is off track, but it is in time. So 6-3 in the scorebook retires Glassford. 1 up, 1 down. That'll bring up Zach Kozel. Great velocity from Eberline those first couple of pitches.
Pitched with the Expos last year.
First pitch from Eberline to Kozel. Just missed low. Ball and no strikes to count. It's a good thing you and I aren't umpires.
Nothing but good tonight, remember, about the umpires.
1-0. Fastball catches the outside corner of the plate. The count evens up to a ball and a strike. So we haven't seen too much variety yet, but obviously Eberline's fastball's working. Here comes the 1-1. Fastball. Lather, rinse, repeat. Strike 2, outside corner. A ball and 2 strikes.
Home plate umpire is Dale Gregg. He lives in Whitewood. Todd Johnson is on the bases. He is from Spearfish.
1-2. Swung on and missed. Strike 3. First K in the scorebook for either side in this contest. 2 up, 2 down for the Hard Hats on defense. And now we go back to the top of the order to Taylor Genevieve, who's 0 for 1 with a ground out right to Will Moore to start off the bottom half of the first. So now here comes the first pitch to Genevieve. Full windup for Eberline. And it's a fastball low. Ball and no strikes. Nice punch out. We were waiting a while for that first strike. Missed outside. Count strikes. To Riley McSherry first. Should Laux safely get on the base path, Jackson Rosencrantz is on deck. Also 0 for 1. First pitch to Laux. Fastball's in there for strike 1. No balls and a strike to count. Should Laux be the final batter, the Hard Hats will go to Bowman Solano. Excuse me, we'll go to Wall Deming and then McSherry back to the top of the order. Apparently I can't read my scorebook. 0-1. Fastball missed away. Ball and a strike.
Well, I hope you don't think we're supposed to read it if you can.
Well, that was my next option, was to just hand it over to you and see if you could you could translate the hieroglyphics I have in front of me.
Did you study Egyptian in college? Is that?
That was the first thing that came to mind. Check down to first, not there in time. Still a ball and a strike here to Parker Laux, looking for his third pitch of the at-bat.
Another pitcher warming up down in the bullpen for Rapid City, a right-hander. As we said, Mitch Messer wanted to use probably 5 or 6 pitchers tonight.
1-1's fouled, and that'll bring it to a ball and 2 strikes. And you have to figure for Coach Messer, yeah, he had the scrimmage against Mines, and yes, he's had practice and he's had bullpen sessions, but now he's in real game action, so he needs to evaluate what he has, and still early in the season for people to develop, but still a decent time to get a good look. Ball and 2 strikes to count. Eberline deals, swung on and fouled, and Laux stays alive at a ball and 2 strikes.
Well, no question, it's going to be a whole new ball game this weekend up in Billings. And, those 22 obviously heavy favorites to win this game here tonight, but it's how you play and it's how you swing and it's how you pitch. It's not necessarily the final score.
Ball and 2 strikes from Eberline. Quick peek to first from the stretch. Pitch is an off-speed, missed up high, and the count will even up at 2 balls and 2 strikes. And to build upon that point, it's also how you prepare. This team prepares better than everybody in my mind. So 2 balls, 2 strikes to count now to Parker Laux. And on first, 2 outs, bottom of the 3rd. 2-2. Swung on and missed, strike 3. And that is the second strikeout of the inning for Eberline, and that will end the bottom half of the 3rd. For Spearfish, no runs, no hits, no errors, but there was 1 man left on the base path on first base, and at the end of 3 full, the Hardhats maintain their 12-0 lead. We'll be right back with the top of the 4th. And Tommy Wall, Carter Deming, and Riley McSherry here on the official radio home of Post 22 Hardhats Baseball here on ESPN Radio, Rapid City. Three full innings in the book here at Black Hills Power Stadium in Spearfish, South Dakota. The Hardhats have a commanding 12-0 lead over Spearfish in their season opening matchup. Spearfish coming in for their 5th game of the season. 3-1 their record. The Hardhats looking to punch in their first win of the 2017 campaign. Statistically across the board, through 3 full innings of play for the Hardhats, they have the lead. It's 12 runs on 4 hits with no errors on defense. On the other side of things, though, for Spearfish, no runs or hits, but 4 blemishes in the field. Something this team will want to adjust moving forward in what is left of this game.
Spearfish finished 29-19 last year, Mark. They won their region championship in State B baseball, and on Saturday they beat Douglas twice, 9-3 and 13-3, and then split with Sturgis on Sunday, winning 7-2 and losing 10-3. That's their 3-1 record. They're here against Gillette at 5:30 in a doubleheader on Friday here at Black Hills Power Stadium.
And we actually get to see Gillette next week, so we should ask him how they play. It'll help out with the scouting report.
There you go.
Tommy Wall, Carter Deming, Riley McSherry due up here in the top of the 4th. Wall 0 for 1 with 2 runs scored, a walk, and he reached on an error. Carter Deming on deck, 0 for 1 with a fly out, a walk, and a run scored. First pitch to Wall. Swung on, and that is cranked high in the air to left field. That ball has some distance on it. Woods tracking, though, in foul territory, and he will make the catch. It's a nice swing of the bat there by Tommy Wall, but Woods makes the defensive stop. F7 in the scorebook. 1 up, 1 down. That'll bring up Carter Deming. So Deming 0 for 1 with that fly out to center field back in the top half of the 2nd. Walked in the 1st inning, came around to score. First pitch swung on and fouled. That misses our press box, and the count goes to 0-1 for Deming. Deming can do it all. We learned that last season. He's playing 3rd tonight. He played 2nd. A lot of last year really came into his own hitting in the most important times, especially heading into the postseason. Oh, one's in there for a called strike. No balls, 2 strikes to count here for them. Those are the unsung heroes of your team, Tom. The guys that are a jack of all trades, and they've mastered a couple along the way as well.
Well, you have to know your role, and that's what makes successful teams, too. Every player knows if the coaches relate it properly, they'll know their role on the team, what that's expected of them. And coaches a lot of times try to put players obviously in positions where they can succeed.
1-2 to Deming is fouled. He looked at a pitch high earlier, so he stays alive in a ball and 2 strikes here. 1 out, no one on here at the top of the 4th.
I like Deming. He's a battler, from what I've seen of him. And
he's also built like a tank, too. 1-2. Swung on and fouled, and he stays alive. There's the battling aspect. But going back to knowing your role, that comes from coaching. Absolutely does. And I think if there's any one thing Mitch does better than anything as a coach, it's putting people in positions to succeed. 1-2 to Deming. Caught him looking. Strike 3 on an inside pitch. So that's a backwards K in the scorebook for Deming. That's the first strikeout for the Spearfish pitching staff. 2 up, 2 down on offense for the Hard Hats. That brings us back to the top of the order to Riley McSherry. McSherry, an RBI hit by pitch, a walk, 2-run scored, a single the last time he was up. He looks at a strike on the inside part of the plate. 0-1 to the Hard Hats left fielder. Another guy who embraces his role. Left field, pitcher, short, second. He hits. Next pitch is a breaking ball that misses, and the count evens up to a ball and a strike. Drew Gusso still on the mound, full windup, 1-1. Swung on, and that's hit high in the air to right field, shallow right field. Charging in from second was Cody Garnis. He makes the catch in shallow right. And that will end the top half of the 4th. Well, unfortunately for the Hard Hats offense, they go 1-2-3, which means no runs, hits, errors, or anybody left on base. And at the end of 3.5, they still maintain their 12-0 lead and look at to keep it that way as they go to the bottom half of the 4th. We'll be right back in a few moments, folks, here on the official radio home of Post 22 Hard Hats Baseball, here on ESPN Radio, Rapid City.
don't forget, we'll be on the air this weekend from Billings, all 4 games up in Montana, and the Royals for 2, the Scarlets for 1, and let's see, who was the other one? Bozeman, was it?
The Missoula Mavericks.
Missoula.
3 of those 4 games, the first 3 will be broadcast on ESPN Radio Rapid City. Great to be entering our 3rd year of a partnership with those fine gentlemen over at Halgo Broadcasting and ESPN Radio Rapid City on 105.7 FM, 1340 AM. But regardless of if we are on terrestrial radio or not, we will be on Hard Hats TV on post22baseball.com. I guess better time than any to give a shameless plug to Destin Heumann, who will be our director for the whole season.
We have to take directions from him?
I guess so, which is weird because you and I are both older than he is.
You're older than I am?
Yeah, I am. Yeah. So now it looks like the Hard Hats have a new pitcher on the mound. That will be Kyle McGuire. He's a right-hander that showed a lot of promise with his velocity. However, control was a big issue for Kyle last season. So you look to the depth of this organization here, Tom, and you look to how young most of the producers were last season. A year older, a year stronger, a year wiser. So let's see what Kyle's done in this last year to prepare for the 2017 campaign.
McGuire didn't have a lot of innings with the varsity last year. He was 1-2 through 25 innings. 37 strikeouts in the 25 innings, which is just tremendous. However, he walked 37 in 25 innings and struck out 24. So Kyle needs to make sure that he cuts down on those bases on balls and Obviously, he has some stuff, averaging a strikeout an inning.
Trey Everline, by the way, his stats across the board: an inning pitched, only 1 walk issued, but 2 strikeouts to his credit. Kyle McGuire will face 3, 4, and 5 in the order. Jackson Rosencrantz, followed by Donovan Balsley and Taylor Woods. First pitch of the season for Kyle McGuire. Fastball in there for strike 1. No balls in a strike to count. Like we said earlier, McGuire, great fastball pitcher, looking to command everything else. 0-1 from McGuire. Up high, ball and strike. Rosencrantz 0 for 1 on the game, popped out just short back in the bottom of the first. That actually ended the inning. Here comes a 1-1 from McGuire. Swung on and missed, strike 2.
He's popping the ball pretty good.
The last 2 pitchers have. The velocity is incredible. So ball and 2 strikes now. McGuire in the driver's seat on the mound, looking for the 3rd strikeout for his pitching staff. 1-2 to Rosencrantz. Swung on and popped high in the air to shallow center. Coming from shortstop, his Bowman flashes his glove and he makes the catch. There's an F6 in the scorebook. 1 up, 1 down. That'll bring up Donovan Balsley, who started off the game as the pitcher. Came out of the pitching role 2/3 of an inning into the entire game, switched over to shortstop, and he hasn't left since. He walked the first time he was up. However, he was thrown out at third in a 5 unassisted fielder's choice. Back in the bottom half of the second. First pitch. Inside. Almost clipped him. Ball and no strikes to count here for Balsley. Well, now it's starting to get cold. Sun setting. Looks absolutely gorgeous, by the way.
Breeze has picked up just a bit, too.
1-1, swung and a missed. Excuse me, 1-0. Swung on and missed. Ball and a strike, now the count. Got ahead of myself. Also doesn't help that one of the poles of this backstop here is covering the 1, so I might have to shift. 1-1 for McGuire. Missed low. The count goes to 2 balls and a strike. It's a good thing we're wearing our Under Armour Post 22 jackets. Shameless plug for the provider of our athletic wear.
And our paychecks.
2-1. Swung on and missed. And the count evens up at deuces. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Nobody on, 1 out here in the bottom of the 4th. Wire facing Donovan Balsley. Looking to punch him out. 2-2. Swung on and missed. Strike 3. Got him with the high heat. That's the first strikeout of this appearance for McGuire. 2 up, 2 down for the Hard Hats on defense. That brings up Taylor Woods. 3 strikeouts now in the last 2 innings for the Hard Hats pitchers. First pitch to Woods. Swung on and fouled into the glove. 0-1. Should Woods safely get on base, Cody Garnis is on deck. He reached on a fielder's choice last time he was up. 0-1. Swung on and fouled again. McGuire again in the driver's seat. No balls to strike.
Rosencrantz, the number 3 hitter, and Balsley, the number 4 hitter, and now Woods, the number 5 hitter. Those 3 batters do swing the bats. They are aggressive with the lumber, or in this case, the aluminum, I guess.
Composite, I think.
Or whatever it's made out of.
0-2 is chopped foul on a check swing, so Woods stays alive. It used to be aluminum. Now it's a BB Core composite, I think is what it's called. They actually made that switch over in 2011, at least in college ball back then. No balls, 2 strikes to count here from McGuire, and he deals. Caught him looking, strike 3 on the inside part of the plate. So a backwards K for Kyle McGuire, and that will retire the side here in the bottom of the 4th. Another 1-2-3 inning for the Hard Hats on defense, which means no runs, hits, errors, or anybody left on base. And at the end of 4, they still hold command of this game. A 12-0 lead heading into the top of the 5th. We're going to give Tom the keys back to the car as we go to the top of the 5th. You're listening to the official radio home of Post 22 Hard Hats Baseball here on ESPN Radio Rapid City.
New pitcher for Spearfish as we go now to the top half of the 5th inning, and Post 22 with a 12-run lead, 12-0 through 4 innings of play. The 8 runs in the first inning for Post 22 really set the tone for this game, and now Post 22 has just added a few runs here and there. Connor Glassford, who was at first base, is now pitching. So it's Glassford pitching.
And it looks like Gusso's gone back to shortstop. And you are right, it is Glassford out there on the mound.
You say Gusso back to short?
Yes.
So we just need a first baseman now. That might be Ballsley. There's a strike leading off for Post 22 here in the top half of the 5th inning. Cooper Bowman. Swing and a miss. 0-2 as Glassford is ahead of Bowman, who has walked and scored in the first. Doubled to right. Drove in a couple of runs in the first inning also, and then flied to right. His last as bad as the pitch comes in low in the dirt, and it's 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Gusso went 3 1/3 in relief, by the way, of Donovan Ballsley. And now he's back at short, so he hasn't left the game yet.
I thought he threw well for Spearfish. Foul back by Bowman. The count runs along at 1 ball and 2 strikes. Zach Solano on deck and Timmy Paris to follow. Here's the pitch. Ball down low. 2-2 on Bowman. It's always interesting, too, as the pitch comes in. Low and outside, 3-2. To watch the opening game of the season and see the batting order and see what it's like a month from now and see what it's like at tournament time. Pitch is low, ball 4, and Bowman walks. Post 22 over the years have not had a lot of juggling of the lineup. The last couple of years, they've moved it around a little bit early in the season, but I think by the time you guys got to tournament time, it was pretty well set. Pitch is low and outside to Solano. 1 ball, no strikes. Zach signaled to left, drove in a run in the first, also walked in the first, and then fly down to right center in the 3rd inning. So Solano's 1 for 2 with an RBI. There goes the runner. The pitch is swung on and fouled on the hit and run out of play down the right field line. 1-1 now on Solano.
Going back to that point of the lineup solidifying by the time tournament play comes around, it seems that Gopher Classic at the start of July is when everything is pretty much, because there's always going to be changes, but pretty much set in stone moving forward.
And of course, that comes right after that final 18-man roster has to be finalized. Swing and a miss. The runner going to second. Steal second base Bowman. Solano swung at the pitch to protect the runner, and the count is now 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Perfect execution of the hit and run, and we knew it was coming because that's what happened the last time the pitch was thrown. Zach Solano fouled, but that time they worked it to perfection.
So Solano has a chance for an RBI again here. The runner at second, and nobody out here in the top of the 5th. Post 22 leading 12-0 in their season opener. And Zach hits a foul off to the right again out of play. 1 ball, 2 strikes on the Post 22 center fielder. Here's the set now by Glassford. A look back at second. The pitch to Solano. Swung out a fly ball into center field. It's carrying deep, but it's hanging up there. And Rosencrantz moves to his right and left center field to make the catch. Hanging on at second is Bowman, and there's 1 out.
And if you thought Zach Solano was a threat at the plate, here comes Timmy Paris.
Paris, a 3-run home run in the first inning. Grounded out to short to end the first, and then walked and scored in the 3rd inning.
2 runs scored, 3 batted in. He's responsible for 5 runs.
1 out. Bowman leads from second. And the pitch is on the outside corner for a strike on Timmy Paris. And the pitch, runner going to third, swing and a miss, and no throw. Stolen base for Bowman. He got a really good jump.
Got a great jump. I don't think you could have timed that any better if you were Cooper Bowman.
Harris swung at the pitch to protect the runner. The infield's going to remain back with 1 out. Pitch on the way outside, gets away from the catcher. Here comes Bowman to the plate to score. Wild pitch, and it's 13-0 now, post 22.
How about that for Cooper Bowman? Scores the run, and Timmy Paris doesn't even have to swing his bat to bring him in. 2 stolen bases, the wild pitch. Crazy how that all happened.
1-2 now on Paris. Glassford's pitch, fouled off to the right. Count runs along at a ball and 2 strikes. Now the 1-2 pitch. Line towards short and caught by Gusso. Soft line drive by Paris for the 2nd out here in the top of the 5th inning. Half the Spearfish team is running off the field thinking it was out number 3. Eric Petrie will come up.
Number 23, Eric Petrie.
Always funny to see when that happens.
I don't think the coach of Spearfish is too happy as Petrie loops one out into center field. It's going to fall in for a base hit. A looping single for Petrie. His first hit of the night. Post 22 has a 2-out base runner here with their 6th hit of the game. And it brings up Luke Ferdinand, the number 6 batter, the first baseman. Reached on an air twice, then had an RBI single in the 4th. He hits a bouncing ball out to second. Fumbled by the second baseman who recovers it, and Garness throws to first for the out. 1 run, 1 hit for post 22 in the top of the 5th inning. They leave a man on base. There were no Spearfish errors. We go to the bottom of the 5th from Spearfish, and the score is post 22 13, Spearfish nothing. Post 22 baseball on ESPN Radio, Rapid City. Post 22 starts the bottom of the 5th inning with a 13-0 lead.
Looks like there's a new hurler on the mound, too. If I caught the license plate correctly, that is Jack Sorensen wearing 30.
You know, they instituted that rule this year, Mark, about certainly trying to regulate the number of pitches and appearances that Legion pitchers can make. And the national office laid that out, but they're allowing the states to enforce it or not. And South Dakota has chosen not to do anything in particular to enforce that. So, as Mitch Messer said, it doesn't really affect his pitching staff at all because he's always been kind of cognizant of that. But other states are using the rule. And but it's interesting also, the umpire said they don't want anything to do with enforcing it. So in some states, the dugouts have to keep the pitching totals. Now, can you there wouldn't be any little, oh, God, did he throw a pitch there?
Right.
So it's kind of a screwy thing. And you'd think if the national office came down with that, they'd either enforce it or, why bring it up?
Exactly.
Cody Garness up, the second baseman. And Jack Sorensen's first pitch is outside for ball one. Right-hander's pitch. Off the outside corner, and it's 2 balls and no strikes. Post 22 pitching is not allowed to hit through the first 4 innings. Here's the pitch, way outside, and it's ball 3. Jack looks a little nervous out there right now.
Well, season opener, first appearance, wearing a hard hat. There's probably a lot going through his mind right now.
Of course, he has older brother Ben Sorensen, had a fine career with Post 22, a big, tall, side-arming right-hander. There's a strike over the inside corner to Garness, and it's 3 balls and a strike. Look at this game, it's 13-0, but we've only had between both teams 5 and we have a full count.
It's a very telling statistic. Credit on Sorensen getting back into those counts or at least push it full. He's got to make Garness earn it.
3-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. He climbs the ladder and comes back and strikes out Garness, who had grounded into a force play his first time up. So Cody's 0 for 2. Brings up Drew Gusso.
Gusso grounded into the inning-ending 5-4-3 double play there back in the bottom of the second.
And Sorensen's pitch is a strike on the inside corner. Sorensen working out of the stretch. 1 strike to count. Swing and a miss. 0-2 on Gusso.
Starts off with 3 straight balls, comes back with 5 consecutive strikes. He was hoping he makes it 6.
0-2 pitch. Foul back. Sorensen got that pitch in on the hands, and it's 0-2 still on Gusso with Connor. Here's the pitch. Another foul off to the right. Connor Glassford. I tell you think Mitch Messer's handwriting is tough at times. 2 outs. Or I should say 1 out. 2 strikes on the hitter. Pitch to Gusso is swung on, a little pop fly out near second, and it's caught by second baseman Tommy Wall. 2 down.
Great on Sorensen to come back. I know we talked about that earlier, but including fouls and then the hit, he came back with 8 consecutive strikes after throwing 3 straight balls to his first batter. So good to see him settle in.
Here's Connor Glassford up, and he takes a strike. He's now pitching for Spearfish. He hit to shortstop Bowman, who threw him out in the 3rd inning. Sorensen's pitch. Fastball in tight.
That broke the consecutive strike streak at 9. That was very impressive.
1 ball and 1 strike. Chop towards third. Second hop played by Deming. The throw to first base on target for the out. Third to first to get Glassford, and a 1-2-3 inning for Jack Sorensen. Nicely done, Jack. We head to the bottom half of the 5th inning now. And Post 22 maintains its lead 13-0 over Spearfish right here on ESPN Radio, Rapid City. And the 5. Here in the top of the 6th inning. Post 22, of course, could win this game on the 10-run rule after 7. Jackson stepping in. He swings and peels a foul off to the right, 1 strike.
Going to give your Twins a shout out here, Tom. A 7-3 lead over the Oakland Athletics in the bottom of the 6th with 1 out.
I've got my pre-order for World Series tickets in. Swing and a miss. Pitch off the outside corner. No balls and 2 strikes.
That's odd because I had my World Series pre-ordered tickets for the Yankees, so there's an issue here.
There's a fly ball into right center field. And Rosencrantz gives way to the right fielder, Kozel, who makes the catch. Kozel. 1 down in the post 22-6. Jackson is now 1 for 4. I'm sorry, Hunter's 0 for 4, or Holden 0 for 4. So many of these players have older brothers that Hunter Jackson was a former post 22 player. Here's Tommy Wall, the second baseman. And the pitch is down low. Tommy walked and scored in the first. He's reached on an error and fouled out to the left fielder. His last at bat in the 4th inning. And he hits a foul back to the screen, and the count is 1-1.
Said it in the scrimmage you and I watched between South Dakota School of Mines and the Hard Hats. That the biggest thing about Tommy Wall is he has ice water in his veins. Nothing phases this kid.
Pitch is a strike on the low outside and inside corner. Well, give us another half hour, and each one of us in this ballpark will have ice water in our veins. The temperature has dropped, but what a beautiful sunset marked off to the west. Golden sky. 2 balls and 2 strikes. The pitch down and in to Wall. And he has a couple of runs scored. Pitch just outside. And it's a full count, 3-2.
That was awfully close. Tommy Wall's lucky he's got another pitch here.
And the payoff pitch. No one inside. He draws a walk. Rapid City has a runner at first base and 1 out here in the top of the 6th with a 13-0 lead. Carter Deming, number 9 hitter, has walked, scored a run in the first, flied out to left center, and has been called out on strikes. And he takes the ball, and it's 1-0. Post 22 had 3 hits in the first inning. They have 6 hits total in the game as I look at my scorebook. Totals on the scoreboard aren't correct.
Yeah, I'm seeing 6 in my book here too, so good to see that we can at least decipher that part of the hieroglyphics we're both jotting down right now.
It's nice to be on the same page with your partner. 1 ball, no strikes, and that pitch is in there for a strike. 1 ball and 1 strike. 1 out here in the top of the 6th inning, and post 22 leading 13-0. And the pitch. That's another fastball down at the knees for a strike, and it's 1-2.
Trying to keep Tommy Wall there at first. Excuse me, check down was late.
There's a swing and a foul back to the screen by Deming. One ball and 2 strikes. There's a drive to center. Here comes Rosencrantz. He grabs it on the run, and that retires the side. I'm sorry, that's 2 out. I'm the Spearfish team now.
You beat me to the joke.
You're quick, I know that. So Deming out on a fly ball to center. Now we have a pinch hitter for McSherry. Connor King is going to bat for McSherry. McSherry leaves the game 1 for 2. King is a left-handed batter. And a throw to first base, and Wall is back.
And as long as Luke Ferdinand stays in the game, that's 2 lefties now in the lineup for the Hard Hats.
And the pitch is a ball outside. 1 ball, no strikes. And the pitch. King takes it inside. It's off the mid of the catcher, Louts, and down to second base goes Tommy Wall. And the count is 2 balls and no strikes. Pitch was inside again, but probably a pitch that the catcher Louts could have handled. Rosencrantz shading a bit towards right center, and the pitch to King is high, 3-0, showing good discipline.
We didn't get to see much of Connor King last year, only a couple of games played. But definitely showed promise that, at least for this season now, he belongs at this level.
2 for 8 with the varsity last year. Here's a fastball in there for a strike, and it's 3-1.
Jackson obviously disagreed with the call. He was ready to toss his bat to the dugout and trot to first, but he's got to wait for that, 1 step at a time.
Runner at second takes his lead as the pitch comes outside to Connor King. He walks. Ball still at second base with 2 down. And brings up Cooper Bowman. Shortstop, number 2 hitter is walked. Double to right to drive in 2 runs. Fly to right, walked again. Just scored twice. And looks at a strike on the outside corner.
Last season, he found himself at the top of the order for a good stretch, right about the Gopher Classic. He showed some good offensive promise there.
And the pitch. There's a high pop-up, shallow center. Shortstop Gusso going out on the outfield grass behind second, and he dropped the ball. Another error for Spearfish, and that was the old saying that you heard many, many years ago. You don't hear it anymore, so I'll use it. That was a can of corn, and it was dropped out there by the shortstop. So the bases are loaded for Zach Solano, and he's got to be licking his chops here. An RBI single for Zach in 3 official at-bats. He also has a walk. He's flied out twice and slices a foul down the right field line.
He saw that gap between the foul line and the right fielder, Kozel. Tried to get the push. Very smart hitting there by Solano. Just couldn't push it enough.
Tommy Wall scoring on that drop pop-up by Gusso to make it 14-0. And there's a drive to center field. Rosencrantz moving to his left this time under it, and he grabs it for the out. And the inning's over. Zach's flied out now. His last 3 at-bats, all to the center fielder, Rosencrantz. Well, a run scores for Post 22. They had no hits in the inning. A Spearfish error, 2 men left on base. Spearfish errors have really hurt them. 14-0. Post 22 leads. We go to the bottom of the 6th inning here on ESPN Radio, Rapid City. Bottom of the 6th inning coming up now for Post 22, leading by a score of 14-0. Only if you want to share it, Destin.
For those unaware, Tom is passing food in our booth.
Well, it's not really food. It was a few cookies for Destin. And he's a young, growing man, and
I like to think we're all young, growing men.
Thank you. Johnson coming in to pitch. No, that's not. Who's this for Post 22?
That'd be Holden Jackson.
Holden Jackson, not Johnson. Jackson. Jack Sorensen looked good in his 1 inning. So how many pitchers now has Mitch used? Is this 5?
This would be number 5, yes. Holden Jackson can play third base. He can play outfield. He was primarily used in the bullpen last season, and his breaking pitches are just dynamic. He has a 12-6 curveball that the bend in it is incredible.
Zach Kozel will be the leadoff hitter for Spearfish here in the bottom of the 6th. The right fielder, number 9 here, has only batted once and struck out in the 3rd inning. Jackson's pitch, and a good fastball is in there for a strike. Outfield straightaway. And the pitch. Fastball high. 1 ball, 1 strike. One pitch, too low, and it's 2 balls and a strike.
Last time Holden Jackson pitched, dating back to last season, was in the survival game for the Hard Hats against Millard West in the regional to eventually get them a chance against Creighton Prep for the regional title.
And the pitch. High for a ball. He had 3 decisions last year. They were all wins. Pitched a total of 29 innings on the season. Had a earned run average of 3.14. And he delivers that too low for ball 4. So Kozel walks to start the 6th inning for Spearfish, and they still don't have a hit. You know, we might set a record for a number of pitchers combining for a no-hitter in a game. This is our 5th post-22 pitcher. Tanner Janovy up, 3rd baseman. And he hits a high pop foul off to the right, 1 strike. Janovy is hit back to the pitcher and walk. He's 0 for 1.
Post 22 currently at double play depth right now. Ball in second, Bowman short.
Here's the pitch, high and tight. 1 ball, 1 strike. Broadcast time from Billings on Saturday afternoon will be 5:15 for our doubleheader. 5:15 for the pregame show. Sunday morning, we'll have a 9:45 broadcast time. Pitch down in the dirt. The runner's going to second, and Paris won't make the throw. Timmy did as good as he could to block that pitch. It'll be a wild pitch. Kozel to second now with nobody out. And a 2 ball, 1 strike count on Janovy. Jackson sets. Looks back at second. The 2-1 pitch is swung on and missed, and it's a 2 ball, 2 strike count.
One of the most underrated aspects of being a catcher is stopping those pitches, those wild pitches. The nickname for the catching position is backstopper for a reason. You are stopping balls at the back end of the infield. So Timmy made such an easy work of it last season. He was blocking everything. It was almost as if he was a goaltender back there.
2 balls and 2 strikes. Long look by Jackson. He's ready. The 2-2 to Janovy is swung on, hit past Jackson out to second baseman Wall, who fields it, comes in on the edge of the grass and makes the throw to first. Janovy out second to first. Kozel advances to third on the play. So Spearfish with a runner in third base. First time tonight they've had a runner at third. Their best chance maybe to score is in the second. They got the first 2 men on that inning. But now they have a runner at third, 1 out. Infield is back. And there's a foul off to the right by number 2 hitter Parker Laux, the catcher. He's 0 for 2. He's flied to left, struck out swinging. No balls and a strike. And Jackson's pitch. Low and outside. 1 ball and 1 strike.
I'm waiting. Yeah, I'm waiting for the next thing. All right, yeah, hold it.
High fastball, 2-1 now on Louts. Kozel, the runner at third base. A 14-0 post-22 lead here in the bottom of the 6th.
Barring a crazy double play, Jackson Rosencrantz.
2 balls and a strike. Here's the pitch. Ground ball hit to second base. It'll score the run. And it's picked up and thrown to first base by Wall. Fumbled it briefly there, but made the play. But it's an RBI for Parker Laux as Kozel comes in to score. And what makes this even odder now is that Spearfish has scored the run and they still don't have a hit.
I can't say I've seen that before. I'm sure it's happened. Can't say I've ever seen it.
Here's Jason Rosencrantz, the number 3 hitter. He swings the bat like he is, no question, their best hitter. Takes a fastball strike on the outside corner. He has popped out twice to shortstop Bowman. So he's 0 for 2. 2 outs and nobody on. A run in for Spearfish, 14-1. Post 22 leading. And the pitch. Fastball outside. Evens the count at 1-1.
Looks like Jackson tried to hit that same spot where he got the called strike the first time, just missed it by a couple inches.
And the pitch. Poked foul down the right field line. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Nobody throwing in the bullpen for post 22, so Jackson may be pitching these last 2 innings. One ball, 2 strikes. And the pitch. A line drive into left center. There goes the no-hitter. In the gap and rolling all the way to the fence in deep left center field. And I'll tell you, I saw Rosencrantz swing the bat, and I thought he was their best hitter, although he had a couple of pop-outs. He lined that ball for a solid 2-out double to left center field.
Unfortunate to see the no-hitter go, but that's where Holden Jackson, he has to place that pitch in a much better place there in the strike zone. Rosencrantz, full windup on his swing, made great contact. No doubt that was going to be a base hit.
Here's Balsley. He swings the bat pretty well, too. I think they're 3 and 4 hitters, no question, are their better hitters. Just watching him swing. There's a hard ground ball. Diving stop behind third by Deming. The throw to first, and he got him. What a sensational play by Carter Deming. Behind the bag, a diving stop of the ball and making the play to first base to get Balsley. What a play by Deming. A run and a hit for Spearfish, and they leave a man on base. At the end of 6 now, 14-1, Post 22 leading. You're listening to Post 22 Baseball throughout the season right here on ESPN Radio, Rapid City. You better turn my mic down. Boy.
6 full innings in the books as we head now to the top half of the 7th inning. Timmy Parrish to lead off for the Post 22 Hard Hats, followed by Eric Petrie and Luke Ferdinand, barring any offensive substitutions for the Hard Hats. Statistically, across the board through 6 innings of play for the Hard Hats, it's 14 runs on 5 hits with no errors on defense. On the other side, for Spearfish, they just got on the board there back in the bottom half of the 6th. 1 run on 1 hit, 5 blemishes on defense. Been a very interesting back and forth pace here these last couple of innings. Post 22 put up an 8 spot on the top of the 1st, and they have not looked back. New pitcher on the mound for Spearfish. And that will be Cameron Cook. He comes into the game for Connor Glassford, who took over for Drew Gusso, who then took over for Donovan Balsley at the start of the contest. So 2 innings for Glassford on the mound for Spearfish. So now Cameron Cook on the mound, and Timmy Paris is the first gentleman he will face. Paris, a 3-run home run in that 8-run first inning. Grounded out to short, walked and scored, and lined out to the shortstop. So his stat line is 1 for 3 with 2 runs scored, 3 RBI. And a walk. So let's see what Cameron Cook has from the Spearfish bullpen. First pitch to Paris is fouled. That goes out of play, first base side. And Paris starts off 0-1. So again, barring any substitutions on offense, Timmy Paris, Eric Petrie, Luke Ferdinand due up here in the top half of the 7th. And the 10-run rule is in effect, so this game could end after this frame. 0-1. Swung on and hit foul. The exact same side of the ballpark, and the count quickly goes to 0-2 for Paris. Mark Benetti and the longtime voice of Post 22 Baseball, Tom Rudebush, alongside you here on ESPN Radio Rapid City. We will be the dynamic duo, or at least we hope to be for the whole season. 0-2. Swung on, and that is hit into right field. That ball might drop, and it just does for a base hit. Timmy Paris is on his horse. He is rounding first, and he is at second for a stand-up double to lead off the top half of the 7th. So his second hit of the ball game. Another extra base hit. That'll bring up Eric Petrie with a man in scoring position and no one out.
Number 23, Eric Petrie.
Timmy Paris can crush the ball, and he can perfectly place it as well for a timely hit. Now here comes Petrie. First pitch he sees. Misses low and away. Ball 1 to Petrie. Petrie singled the last time he was up. However, did not advance past first base. On the game, 1 for 3 with a run scored. Reached on an error, also hit by a pitch. He fouls his next pitch. And now the count is tied up at 1-1. Special hello to Lieutenant Jim Bussell listening back in Rapid City. Big supporter of Post 22 hard hats. 1-1. Swung on, and that's hit in the air to center field. That ball is going to drop in front of Rosencrantz for a base hit. Paris tries to advance to third. The throw is off track, and advancing on the throw is Eric Petrie. So it's a single, and he will take second on the overthrow to third. 2 men in scoring position. Still no one out here in the top of the 7th. That will bring us to the lefty, Luke Ferdinand. Jim's also a big supporter of Rapid City Rush Hockey, where I am very blessed to call my professional home for the last 4 seasons. It's a shame it was another early offseason, but the team looks to pick that up and make it a longer season when our 10-year anniversary comes up next season. Ferdinand looks at ball 1 low and inside, starts off 1-0. Ferdinand had an RBI single earlier in the contest. Check swings on the next pitch, and that will even the count up at ball and strike.
Any timetable, Mark, on naming the new coach?
Nothing as of right now. Besides, they don't tell me anything that happens in that front office anyway, so I probably won't know until even after it's announced. 1-1. Just missed inside, and the count goes to 2 balls and a strike.
You know, if you look at this game, you see the score 14-1, but I think if you had to say something that Post 22 needs to work on, you wouldn't believe this is what I'm going to say, but they're hitting. 7 hits in this game. Now, the good part is that they've taken a lot of walks. They've been disciplined at the plate, and I get all that, but some guys just, and it's the first game of the year, not quite where they want to be, I know, but still a very solid outing.
Count goes full here for Ferdinand. First base is empty. Second and third are occupied. Still no outs here, top of the 7th. Payoff pitch to Ferdinand is swung on and chopped foul down the first base line. So Ferdinand will keep swinging. Olden Jackson, barring a substitution, is on deck. Just came in to pitch not too long ago. Payoff number 2 to Ferdinand. Swung on and hit foul, this time the opposite side of the ballpark. Almost caught in the bullpen, close 22.
Speaking of hockey, of course, Luke Ferdinand was a big part of that hockey team, the Rushmore Thunder. Lost the state championship to Brookings, but played very well in that postseason tournament in Cleveland, where they did well.
Payoff number 3. Swung on and shot foul first base side. Lather, rinse, repeat. Payoff pitch number 4.
Timmy Paris is getting his sprints in, coming down from third base, going back to third base, coming down to home plate, going back.
There was a while back, there was a Colorado Rockies base runner who I think ended up almost running the equivalent of a mile because of so many foul balls while he was on the base path. Finally made it to second. The ball was actually hit. And there's another foul. Payoff number 5. It's okay, Luke. We've got all night. You can take your time.
Speak for yourself.
These kiddos at school in the morning.
I'm a rebel, Tom. I don't have a bedtime, so.
I've heard that.
Next pitch, high and away, ball 4. So Luke Ferdinand, the patience of his saint pays off. He draws the walk. Bases are loaded. And that's going to bring up Holden Jackson.
Timmy making it 15-0. Ball 4 and the ball getting away off the catcher. Laux has had a little trouble, too, with his catching tonight. A lot of balls have popped out of his head, out of his glove.
Astute observation there on Timmy Paris. Trotting 90 feet to get a 15th run on the board. Check down to first, almost over the head of the first baseman. Was not in time. Chaos averted by Spearfish right now. And now Jackson steps in, men on the corners. Still no one out here, top of the 7th. First pitch. Misses low. Ball gets away from Laux, the catcher, and there it is right on the nail again, Tom. Another base runner will take a free base. So now moving to second is Ferdinand. Jackson has 2 men in scoring position to work with here, and a 1-0 count. One-0, called strike on a fastball. Ball on a strike now the count. To Holden Jackson. He is 0 for 3. Reached on a fielder's choice. Popped out to short, flew out to right. Next pitch is swung on, and that's cranked into right. Ball has some distance on it, and it goes over the head of the right fielder, Kozel, and all the way to the wall. That is going to clear the bases. Petrie rounds, he scores. Ferdinand rounds, he scores. And Holden Jackson is into third with a 2-run RBI stand-up triple. And now the Hard Hats have a 17-1 lead. Still no one out here at the top of the 7th. Absolutely. Great piece of hitting for Holden Jackson. And now Tommy Wall has a chance to knock him in, standing 90 feet to his left. First pitch to Wall. Called strike. 0-1 the count here to Wall. He's reached base 3 out of 4 times. He's walked twice, reached on an error, but every time he's reached, he's come around to score. 0-1. Swung on, and that is punched over the head of the first baseman and into right for a base hit. Jackson is easily going to trot to home and score. Tommy Wall on first with an RBI single, and you can add another run and make it 18-1 for Post 22. A man on first, still no one out here in the top of the 7th. So Tommy Wall's first hit of the year, also an RBI.
Well, we've had 4 hits in this inning after having 6 hits in the first 6.
Carter Deming chops that one to third. Stop is made on the play, but there won't be a throw. I believe this could be an E5. Charge to Taylor Genevieve. Bobbled the ball, tried to make a play, but thought against it, held on to it, didn't want to add to the damage. So it's an E5 for Carter Deming. That'll bring up Connor King. Still no one out. Men on first and second here in the top of the 7th. That is the 6th Spearfish error on defense. First pitch to King misses high and away. That'll be ball 1. And now Laux comes out to talk to Cook on the mound. Well, this has been one heck of a start to the season.
18-1, Post 22 leading, and you're right. I mean, Post 22 was figured to win this game, but you still like to see how do they play, how do they pitch, how do they swing the bats, how do they field the ball. And they're certainly going to get a passing grade here in this first game.
Conference is over. Here comes the 1-0. King looks at strike one on the outside corner. Captain comes up and ball and strike. Men on first and second here for King. Tommy Wall in scoring position. Carter Deming on first. Next pitch, low and inside, but Laux makes the stop this time, so we will advance a base. 2 balls and a strike now, the count to King. He walked the first time he was up. He was stranded on third. That was exactly an inning ago. 2-1. Swung on and hit high in the air to right field. Colesville is tracking. He is underneath it. Makes the catch. Wall tags up. Both gentlemen are going to try and advance to their next base. And they successfully do. So Connor King advances both base runners. Now it's 2 men in scoring position, and that's going to bring up Cooper Bowman.
It's very interesting there. Nick Ewing coaching at first for Post 22. If you watch the cutoffs of Spearfish tonight, the shortstop, there's nobody covering second base. And when the ball was picked up and thrown back towards the infield, Nick Ewing already had the runner at first going to second and Deming because there was nobody at second base.
Bowman looks at a first pitch called strike to start off the 6th trip of the game to the plate for himself. 0-1 to Bowman. Caught the outside. Strike 2. I think I have to agree with the crowd on that one. 0-2. Here comes the 0-2. Bowman looks at ball 1. At least I would hope that one's going to stay at ball 1.
Remember what we told the umpires before the game when they were up here?
I know. I'm just trying to have some fun. Here comes the 1-2. Caught him looking. Strike 3 on the outside. So Cooper Bowman will go back to the dugout with a backwards K on his stat line. That's 2 down now. Still 2 men in scoring position. That'll bring up Zach Solano. And officially, the Hardhats have batted through the entire lineup here in this inning. If there's anybody that can knock runs in, it's Zach Solano. But the last 3 times he's been up to the plate, he's flown out to center. First pitch high and inside. He looks at ball 1. Prior to that, he had an RBI double and scored a run. We have a timeout called as I believe Laux has a equipment malfunction on his shin pad. It's quite the vital piece of equipment there for a catcher. We have to make sure that that's right. Almost 6.5 innings played here at Black Hills Power Stadium. Statistically across the board, the Hardhats with the lead. It's 18 runs on 9 hits, no blemishes on defense. And on the other side of things for Spearfish, 1 run, 1 hit, 6 errors. One of those 6 errors has come in this inning. 1-0 to Solano. Swung on and popped high in the air to the infield. Gusso from short makes the catch, and that will retire the Hardhats and bring up the bottom half of the 7th inning. So 4 hits for the Hardhats. That allows them to plate a few more runs, 2 to be specific. 1 error defensively for Spearfish, 2 men left on the base path, both of which were in scoring position. 6.5 innings in the books. We'll be right back with what could be the final frame of this game in just a few moments here on the official radio home of Post 22 Hardhats Baseball here on ESPN Radio, Rapid City. I have to make an amendment to the previous stat line that I presented. It was 4 runs on 4 hits and 1 error. 2 men left on the base path, both of which were in scoring position. Not 2 runs on 4 hits. Sometimes math can be hard. We now go to the bottom half of the 7th. If the Hardhats can record 3 outs on defense, this game will come to its conclusion. Through 6.5, the Hardhats have the lead. It's 18 runs on 9 hits, no errors in the field. 1 run, 1 hit, 6 errors for Spearfish.
When this game ends, you will not be credited with a save.
Looks like we have another pitching change on the mound here for the Hard Hats. It looks like Dylan Ritchie's on the mound. He will close out this contest.
So that's 6 pitchers in. So Mitch Messer hit his goal. Or is that 7? No, that's 6. Right?
Yeah, that is 6. Sometimes math can be easy. That was an easy count there. For some reason, it was tough at the end of the last half inning.
How is New York math compared to South Dakota math?
It's the same math. It's just there's a weird accent when you talk about it.
Oh, okay.
On both sides, for that matter. Let's be honest. So now, Taylor Woods comes out for Spearfish. Dylan Ritchie's first pitch, and there for strike. The ball's in a strike, his starting count. Woods 0 for 1. He was hit by a pitch, stranded at second, a backwards K in the scorebook. Struck out looking. It's followed up by Cody Garnis and Drew Gusso, barring any offensive substitutions. Next pitch, swung on and missed. No balls, 2 strikes, the count. I have to say, Tom, and I know I said it a while back, even with Kyle McGuire, and then when on the mound for the Hard Hats was Jack Sorensen, the velocity from these pitchers. Holy cow. 0-2. Breaking ball doesn't break down. The count will go to ball, 2 strikes. 1-2 the count here for Dylan Ritchie. He's going to pitch from the stretch, too. 1-2. Just missed. Timmy Paris couldn't believe it. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Hard Hats looking to end this contest. They have an 18-1 lead. Spearfish needs 8 runs to keep it going. 2-2, swung on, and that is ripped into left field, and it will drop for a base hit. That's going to go all the way to the corner. Connor King comes flying from left field to throw it into Cooper Bowman. So it'll be a leadoff double for Taylor Woods, a man in scoring position for Spearfish, and that's going to bring us to Cody Garnis. So Taylor Woods gets his first hit of this ball game. Cody Garnis, 0 for 2, grounded into a 5 unassisted fielder's choice. What was safe on the base path, didn't advance past first. Struck out swinging the last time he was up. Tom is observing the technical mastery of Destin, our director over there. Looks good over there from what I can see.
I wish I knew what was going on.
First pitch is over the head of the catcher. And advancing to third now is Woods on the wild pitch. I believe there's also a defensive substitution there at the catching position. That does not look like the normal frame of Timmy Paris. He must be taking the bottom half of the 7th off here. However, the catching apparatus prevents us from clearly identifying a number. 1-0 to Garnis. In there for strike 1 on the outside corner. The count evens up to ball and strike. Because we're on an actual broadcast, we probably can't make up names with old Yankee and Twins legends, so we're just going to have to go blind here. 1-1. Misses high. 2 balls and a strike. Man on third for Spearfish. No one out here in the bottom half of the 7th. Next pitch, swung on and missed. Garnis swinging and missing on the inside fastball. 2 balls, 2 strikes, now the count. Ritchie looking for his first K and what could be the only inning he pitches in this game. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Here's the pitch. Missed out high and away. Count goes full. So 3 balls, 2 strikes now the count here to Garnis. Payoff pitch. Check swing, and he went. Swing and a miss, strike 3. So Ritchie gets the strikeout, 1 down with a man in scoring position, 90 feet away from home. That's going to bring up Drew Gusso. Good strikeout there for Ritchie. First pitch to Gusso catches the outside, strike 1. 0-1 the count. Gusso in the game, 0 for 2. Grounded into an inning-ending double play, 5-4-3 in the bottom of the second. Then he popped out to Tommy Wall at second in the bottom half of the fifth. 0-1. Pitch is high and away. Ball and a strike. On deck is Cameron Cook, excuse me. Next pitch, high and inside. 2 balls and a strike. Two and one the count here for Gusso. Cook came in, excuse me, as the 4th pitcher for Spearfish. Next pitch misses to make it 3-1. Man on third here for Spearfish. In the bottom of the 7th, they trail 18-1. 3-1. Misses high, that's ball 4. So Drew Gusso earns base on balls. And that will now bring up Cameron Cook. Cook came in to pitch, like we said, and now it looks like Coach Messer has a conference there out on the mound. So Dylan Ritchie, it's a little bit of a problem there on that last at-bat. 1 out, men on the corners now. On deck, barring a game-ending double play, is Zach Kozel. And he is 0 for 1 with a strikeout, a walk, and a run scored. I tell you, folks, this is going to be one fun season. Calling baseball with the legendary Tom Rudebush, joined by Destin Human, our director for Hard Hats TV on post22baseball.com. Games streamed live on YouTube.
And you can access them on the website or on the Facebook site, I believe, can't you? Yep. Post 22 Baseball on Facebook.
So here comes Cook. No pitch, though. It was a fake check down at first. Ball remained in the hand of Ritchie. So Cook in his first at-bat of the ballgame. First pitch missed high and away. Check down to first, not in time. Just missed it. 1-0 the count here to Cook. 1 out, men on the corners. Ritchie deals. Swung on and popped up. First base side. And it looks like it's going to go foul and out of play. Petrie and Wall came crashing from right and second, respectively. Ferdinand stayed in the field just in case they could make a play for a relay. So a ball and a strike now the count here to Cook. Ritchie takes a peek at first. He'll give a quick glance at third. And now he's going to step off the rubber and take some time to think about it. Ball and a strike here to Cameron Cook, who came in to pitch last inning. Here comes a 1-1. Swung on and missed.
Good off-speed pitch there. He really took some speed off, breaking ball away.
He almost froze him there as long as he took to deliver it. Ritchie deals, and the pitch goes off the face mask of the catcher. That goes to the backstop. There will not be a play at the plate. Another run scores for Spearfish, and now it is 18-2. With a man on second now, and 1 out here in the bottom half of the 7th.
You know, Ritchie on that pitch before that, Mark, really took some speed off, threw an off-speed breaking ball, and you could see there he really tried to overthrow and throws a wild pitch. Tough for the catcher to handle because it bounced in front of the plate and went right off his mask.
2-2. Swung on, and that is popped into right. Petrie's charging. It's going to drop in front of him for a base hit. Tommy Wall actually fields it coming out from second. And the runner will not advance past third. So heading to third is Gusso. And on first with a bloop single is Cook. And now Zach Kozel comes up once again for Spearfish, men on the corners. The double play can still end the ball game. Spearfish on a little bit of a rally here. 18-2, the Hardhats still have the lead. Spearfish needs 7 more runs to keep this game going. First pitch, swung on and missed. No balls and a strike to count. Taking his lead off first is Cook. Gusso 90 feet away from giving Spearfish a third run. And now, Richie's going to step off the rubber and think again. Now, the last time he stepped off the rubber and he thought, he had that crazy off-speed pitch you were talking about moments ago. See if he comes back with it. 0-1, swung on it, it's hit foul first base. Count goes to 0-2, so the Hardhats, 1 strike away from ending their season opener with what could be a 16-run victory here. No balls, 2 strikes to count. Richie trying to end this. He can do so in 1 pitch. And on the corners, 1 out. So he can end it on 1 pitch. I mean, he could, I guess. I technically was right. Pitch is fouled. We'll stay at 0-2. If that 1 pitch turns into a double play, that could be it. No balls, 2 strikes to count. Kozel stayed alive, 0-2, swung on and fouled, and he's still alive. I always thought that was one of the funniest things of wearing hard hats, Todd. Anytime you have a pitcher that throws really hard, almost every single time that hard hat comes flying off his head.
Well, the hard hats have been part of this tradition.
0-2, swung on and hit high in the air to left. Connor King is charging. He's underneath it. He makes the catch. There will be a throw home. The throw gets in, and the throw is in time. And that is going to end the ball game. An F7-2 double play. What a double play. How about that throw from Connor King in left? Absolutely incredible. Well, that will do it for the game. We have handshakes at home plate, so that means we're going to take a quick break. We'll tabulate some numbers, gather some thoughts. When we come back, we'll briefly recap the game and say so long until Saturday, when the Hardhats travel to the beautiful state of Montana to take on the Billings Royals, Billings Scarlets, and Missoula Mavericks. We'll be right back, folks, here on the official radio home of Post 22 Hardhats Baseball here on ESPN Radio, Rapid City. Well, 1 game in the books for the Post 22 Hardhats. It is a victory after 7 out of 9 innings in regulation. Thank you so much for joining us for tonight's broadcast here on ESPN Radio Rapid City, the official radio home of Post 22 Hardhats Baseball, here on 105.7 FM, 1340 AM. Mark Benetti joined by the legendary Tom Rudabush, longtime voice of the Post 22 Hardhats. And before we get into our post-game breakdown, what we saw, what we observed, Tom, I've been wanting to say this the whole broadcast, but, sometimes with this broadcaster's timing is almost always against us. I have to say it is great to have you in this booth right now. When I first took over 2 seasons ago, all I had heard of was the legend of Tom Rudabush and Rudy, and the fact that you have your own sign in your own corner in Floyd Fitzgerald Stadium. So I can only imagine coming back into the booth after the last couple of years of your absence. I can only imagine what emotions were going through you right now as you saw Game 1 of the 2017 campaign.
Yeah, it's fun. I mean, no question about it. When something's part of your life for 40 years and you lose it because of issues that you can't control, it was hard to be away from it. But I'll tell you, I enjoyed following the team still when over the last couple years, and I thank you before for continuing on with the broadcast. We're going to be, like you said, a lot of fun this summer. I admire you a lot. Of course, we have a hockey love too, and I listen to some of your Rush broadcasts. So no, we look forward to it, Mark, very much, and even having Destin won't hurt our how we do. So, well, let me just give you the final totals: 18 runs, 10 hits, no errors for Post 22, and 9 left. 2 runs, 4 hits, 6 errors, and 4 left for Spearfish. Post 22 playing airless ball also had 2 double plays in the game. They got a 3-run homer from Timmy Parrish during that 8-run first inning. They also had a couple of RBIs from Holden Jackson on a 2-run triple. They had 2 RBIs from Cooper Bowman, and also with RBIs in the game, Riley McSherry, Zach Solano, Luke Ferdinand, Tommy Wall. So everybody got into the hitting tonight for Post 22. But here's the question for you that I want you to answer tonight. Who gets the win?
That's a good question. I think we're going to have to give it to good old Will Moore there.
I would. 2 innings.
2 innings. He was out there for the winning runs, and good to see that Will started off the game as well as he did. Unfortunately, didn't register a strikeout. Everybody else outside of Holden Jackson did after he came in, but you made the point of it earlier, so let's talk about this one while we're on the topic of pitching. Coach Messer wanted to go almost a pitcher per inning. He had 6 pitchers, graced the mound through 7 innings of play, so he almost hit the average right on the nose. But you look at Wilmore, Trey Eberline, Kyle McGuire, Jack Sorensen, Holden Jackson, Dylan Ritchie. We saw 6 really good arms out there tonight.
And I thought they all threw the ball well. I mean, they showed good velocity. Maybe some of the breaking balls weren't where you want to be in another month or so. But again, first game of the season, you're playing. It's a chilly night. You get off to an 8-run lead in the first inning. I thought a lot of players kept their focus. I thought there was no letdowns defensively. Giving away outs. So all in all, the Spearfish team, of course, is not going to be what we see in Billings this weekend. So we'll take this for what it's worth and move on to this weekend.
What expectations do you have for Billings outside of obviously the talent level will rise a bit? The Billings Royals, the Scarlets, the Missoula Mavericks, those are all great teams in Montana. But from this Post-22 lineup with 1 game in the books and another 4 to be played, what do you expect?
Well, I think you're going to see obviously much closer games. I mean, you're going to see the hits are going to be tougher to get. The outs are going to be tougher to get. You're going to have to make your plays defensively. Post-22 over the years has played pretty well on that trip up to Billings. So I look forward to a good series of 4 games up there.
Final stats across the board for the Hard Hats who get the win. 18 runs, 10 hits, no errors on defense, 9 men left on base. For Spearfish, it was 2 runs on 4 hits, 6 blemishes in the field, and they left 4 runners stranded as well. I believe I heard you correctly earlier. 5:15 is the start of our broadcast Saturday for our first doubleheader.
5:30 start for the doubleheader and 5:15 for the pregame.
And both Tom and I will be on the call on ESPN Radio Rapid City, 105.7 FM, 1340 AM. We'll also be streamed live on the internet on post22baseball.com, streamed on YouTube. It'll also be on Facebook Live. So many ways to take in your Hard Hats as they are away from home, like Tom said, for the first 9 games of this 2017 regular season. And while we have a moment and we're talking about broadcasts, how about a special thank you to ESPN Radio and Halgo Broadcasting, 3 years of what we hope will be an even better partnership in this 3rd season on 105.7 FM, 1340 AM. That'll do it for us here from Black Hills Power Stadium, folks. For the legendary Tom Rudabush and myself, Mark Minetti, we will say so long and good night. We'll see you this weekend in Montana.